All right, let's get the Discord notification out. Everyone knows we're live. Right, gonna make sure Discord knows, and then we're gonna kick this off. Give Discord community a minute to get in here. William, we appreciate it. It's been it's actually remarkable. We've been working on this partnership quietly for over a year now. We initially met some of the Reallusion team at GDC of last year and had a discussion early on and said, you know, what if it's possible? You know, what if anything just magically fit any, you know, character creator avatar, and then you could just immediately beam that to any engine you want. And there's none this idea that you buy something on a marketplace and it may or may not fit, and then you have to go to Maya or Blender to do some manual work to get it to fit. And then once you do, the layers don't work with each other, and you got to model them all individually. Going into that, we were like, well, you know, what if that's possible? And you know, it's here today. It officially, you know, obviously launched yesterday or last night, and you know, we couldn't be happier with working with their team. It's been pretty amazing, and just getting something that both teams weren't even sure if it was possible to begin with now is you know, fully live. So there's a lot of amazing things I'm going to walk you guys through today. And you know, obviously the chat will be open for any questions that you guys have regarding the partnership, and we can talk a little bit about what's to come next. You know, obviously Character Creators, they're on CC4 right now. CC5 is going to release. We're working with their team on you know, what is possible in terms of getting MetaTailor to expand further into the Character Creator ecosystem. What does that look like for iClone? What does that look like for, you know, live animation, live linking? You know, there's a situation where it could be possible one day that while you're live linking in your animation suit to iClone, you can actually just in real time adjust the clothing that the character's wearing while it's live in animation. So there's a lot of amazing things that are coming. Obviously, this is the plugin 1.0, and you know, we're very excited to talk about what's next. We'll talk about as much as we can, but you know, we'll leave the floor open for questions throughout the stream. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to walk you guys through a few things. One, how to get started. You know, how to get access to it. That's very quick. Then we're going to start with the basics of we call it the bridge between MetaTailor and Character Creator. And we're going to walk through what is the basics of just sending back and forth. Then we're going to dive into mixing and matching things in real time and sending that back to Character Creator. And then we'll talk about real-time adjustments. So being able to maybe adjust the layering or adjust certain aspects of it and just beam that back instead of having to redo everything. And then we'll talk about the mesh extractor. The mesh extractor is personally one of my favorites because it allows you to bring in clothing or outfits that are already assembled, and then you can kind of dissect that and turn each one of those into their own individual smart mesh to be used in MetaTailor. I see a question coming in real quick. How about the physics? So the physics right now, I'll talk about that just for a second, and then we'll dive into it. As of right now, the physics do not transfer back to Character Creator. However, if you want to use the physics, you can actually you can still export the physics maps out of MetaTailor and then hook those up later in Engine. So if you want, the workflow would look, if you want to for example, get a character creator, a fully dressed character creator avatar into Unity or Unreal, what you would do is you would do this process to get it closed. You would get the character into the engine, and then the physics that you generate in MetaTailor, you just bring those maps into engine and hook them up after you've already gotten the character in engine. In the future, you will be able to actually just take those physics maps and bring them back in the character creator with you that you've generated inside of MetaTailor. So we'll walk through what that looks like today. That'll be something we cover in the real-time adjustments. And you can use that today. It's just the process is a little bit different than it will be in the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to show you guys a couple things just to start off. And I'm going to do my best to not show any naked avatars here, because YouTube is starting to get mad at us for showing naked avatars. So I'm going to do my best. Obviously, you guys in the character space deal with naked avatars all the time, so it's nothing unfamiliar to you. YouTube just doesn't love it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start with something super basic. So I have MetaTailor open on the right side. You can see that. And then I have Character Creator open on the left. Now, if you guys have not seen it yet, to get access to the plugin for Character Creator MetaTailor, you simply just go to the Reallusion Hub, and the MetaTailor pipeline plugin will be listed under Character Creator for free. Now, it's free on the Character Creator side, but it is for pro members in MetaTailor. And you'll see that if I go to the MetaTailor screen, now as part of the new MetaTailor update, you see plugins down at the bottom right. You'll click the plugin tab, and you want to make sure it says enabled. Obviously, we have some additional information on how it works and the key features of it, but you want to make sure you have it enabled. And then if you're running into issues, make sure you have the path set correctly. So some people have had a couple issues with this, nothing too crazy, but just make sure you have the path set to the right area. So you can see here, the path is set to the actual Character Creator executable, and then from that point, it'll just work. So I'm going to bring this back over here, make them meet in the middle. Now, what we're going to do first is I'm going to open up just this character. You're going to see that both characters are exactly the same. So what I've done is I've sent this character over. Matter of fact, let's start from scratch here. You can see in Character Creator now at the top, there is a MetaTailor button. So when I click that MetaTailor button, it's going to load up for a second. And this is how the bridge works. So it's going to load and it's going to just send straight over to MetaTailor. Now, it's going to ask me to create a new project. So I'll do CC, make sure I have it clicked, CC LIVESTREAM, just like that. We'll hit confirm. And now it's going to load this character up. And what you're going to do from here is the standard MetaTailor process for importing an avatar, but we've streamlined it specifically for Character Creator avatars. So I'll hit next step. It already has all the textures on it. Everything's good to go. I'll hit next step. This is the mesh modulator. We'll talk about this later. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with this, but we'll talk about it later. So we'll just say, we'll leave these on. We'll leave these as part of the avatar. We won't separate them now. All right. Then you'll get your landmarking system. For the Character Creator avatars, these are all automatically done for you. You don't have to do anything here. And we'll hit next step. Now, this character will be officially in MetaTailor, and it'll be completely interoperable with any content in MetaTailor or any content you bring in the future. So we're going to start off simple here. I'm just going to go to assemblies and groups, and I'm going to select an assembly of pieces of clothing that MetaTailor already offers. So we'll just go to something like this. We'll watch it. It'll apply itself just like that. Give it a second to load all the textures and clothing up. And it's going to layer everything just exactly how you want it to. Now, what we're going to do from here is I'm going to hit export. And the only thing that you have to do to make sure that this works is make sure that the character in Character Creator and the character in MetaTailor are the same. So you see I have the base Camilla CC4 avatar on the left. I've sent that over. And as long as the character is the same on both tools, it will work. So I'm going to hit send to CC4. And it's going to export everything, all the textures, encode all the textures. And then you're going to see it's going to start loading on the left side. So it's going to bring in the avatar first. It's going to bring in all the textures and align everything exactly how you'd expect it. So we'll give this a second to load up here, assigning the textures now. There we have it. So this character is fully skin weighted and ready to go. Let's see if we can throw an animation on there. I may not actually have any downloaded. Let's double check. Let's see here. All right, we'll do the walking animation, just so you guys can see the skin weights. So we'll throw that on, and there you have it. So fully skin weighted and ready to go. Now, I may have a situation, we'll talk a little bit about the real-time adjustments now, but we'll come back to it a little bit more later. So on the right side, of course, I have MetaTailor, but I might decide, hey, I actually want to tuck this shirt into the pants. We're going to bring the shirt in underneath the pants. It's going to tuck that shirt in. We're going to do the same thing for the boots. I want the pants outside the boots, right? So it's going to layer outside. Now, all I have to do is hit send back to CC, let it load, let it do its thing. Yeah, you may experience, I mean, obviously if items are much higher poly, you may experience a little bit slower on the load times, but it, eventually getting on the texture, texture has a big play in it too. They're 2K, 4K, 8K textures. It's going to take it a little bit longer, but we're obviously doing things to speed that up. And there we have it. So you can see the adjustments that I made in MetaTailor are reflected in Character Creator. So same thing, throw the animation on there, and it's good to go. So I tucked the shirt in, and I tucked the boots, or the boots into the pants, just like that. Perfectly ready to go. Now, just because I picked this outfit doesn't mean that's the only outfit it'll work with. I can still use all of the MetaTailor content or any content that I brought into MetaTailor to mix and match different things. So if I go to clothing, let's say I want to change the jacket. We'll go to here, we'll go to jackets, and let's throw something else on here. So let's say maybe, let me scroll down a little bit, pick something random here. Here we go, a pirate coat. Throw the pirate coat on, perfect, just like that. Let's export that again. Matter of fact, let's change something else. We'll add some hair. Throw some hair on. We'll use the slacker hair that's native in CC. We'll throw that on. There you go. And then maybe we'll change the shoes as well. So we'll take the shoes off and we'll go to shoes. Let's see about some other shoes here. Let's try these sandals. Give that a second to layer on there. Pause the animation on the left side so it frees up some memory there. Now these shoes are pretty high poly. Maybe we'll for the sake of demo, we'll choose something else. How about these cyberpunk shoes? Cyberpunk boots. Now they blend a little bit in the middle, so we'll probably want to adjust that. So all we have to do to adjust that is let's just use the smooth brush to kind of come in. So we don't want the skin weights affected by the middle. So let's just kind of move those over a little bit. Bring that radius up. Kind of do it quick and dirty here. Let's just get that moved over. So with I usually for something like this, I use the combination of relax and smooth, just to kind of get that. I want a gap in there. Same thing. Let's just kind of touch it up a little bit. And oftentimes when you're using shoes in MetaTailor, they will actually have a it'll actually only be one shoe, so that makes this easier because these were imported as two separate shoes. But when you have just one single shoe, it makes it a little easier, and then you just mirror that over. So we got that how we want it. Perfect, just like that. Now let's export it over again. Hit send to CC. Gonna do its thing, load up on the left. And there we have it. So it's gonna load everything up, hair, shoes, all that stuff. And this just allows me to make real-time adjustments to the clothing, just like, the snap of a finger. So there we have it. If I spend a little bit more time on the shoes, I can get them looking better, but just for the sake of demo purposes, you can see, there we have it. Perfect. Now, If I go to, let me stop and answer some questions real quick. Regarding anything at this point, the user doesn't own the message NFT money. I'll stick with comfy. Not sure I understand that question. Load the program. What about the shoe issue? So yeah, the shoe issue. Typically, you won't have an issue. If you do, all you got to do is make sure that they're not touching because the skin weights may overlap. And then once you fix that, as you can see on the left side here, the skin weights are perfectly fine and they don't stretch between the two shoes. So that is something we're working on. We're working on getting the shoes to fit better. But in general, you may have to do just a couple basic adjustments to them, but nothing too crazy. Let me look at this one question real quick. Yeah, I'm not following something about using for AI training. If you can elaborate on that question, I can answer it better. So we've seen this we've seen the mix and matching. Now, let's look more at the real-time adjustments. So we did some basic layering adjustments. That's fine. And of course, in MetaTailor, you can still do, so when I was talking about the physics earlier, you can still apply physics to the items, and then you'll get physics maps. So right there, just with auto generate, I didn't do anything crazy. I now have physics on this item. You can see like that. Now, of course, if I throw an animation, let's just throw a running animation on there, it flops around pretty good. Now, what I can do is I can actually manually paint physics in real time. So what we can do is just bring the brush down. I'm going to make sure that this is darker so it's not clipping. Make sure those stick. And matter of fact, let's use something that's a little more exaggerated with the physics. So let's go to here and let's go to the jacket here. Let's see if we can find a jacket that's pretty flowing. Let's see. Yeah, let's do this one. I like using physics on this one a lot. So we can see it actually tucked in the hair there. Let's pause the animation for a second. So we can see it actually tucked in the hair underneath the hoodie on that. Let's switch that hair out. Let's go to something a little more realistic. Get rid of jackets. There we go. There's some hair right there. So we'll throw that hair on. It's going to try to layer outside first, just like that. It's going to layer outside of the hood. Let's bring that underneath on the layer stack. So there we have it. There's some hair. Now, what we're going to do is we'll go back to the physics. And the physics does a couple things. So at first, while it's calculating, it does two things. One, it generates a proxy mesh for everything. And this allows you to still do physics on super, super high poly items, which is really nice because it allows you to still get away with doing physics on stuff. And it also generates its own collision spheres. So this is really helpful. And this is what allows you to be able to transfer it to different engines. So what we'll do first is we'll go and just auto generate physics on the jacket. So we have that. And honestly, I might throw physics on the hair. It's going to melt at first, but bear with me. So let's throw an animation on. So it's a little weird with the physics on the hair first, but let's do some manual painting on that. So I'm going to flood the whole thing. So we're just going to flood it fully skin weighted. But maybe I go in and I just do a little bit of physics on this little edge piece right here. So maybe just like right in this area, just to get a little bit of movement. Honestly, that was probably a little too much. Let's go back. Let's move the physics here. We're just going to do just a little brush right there. See, let me pause the animation. Just to get a little bit of movement. Nothing crazy, just a little bit of movement in there. Right? Let's throw an animation back on there. So we can see it's just got a little bit of subtle movement. And it's really the subtleties when it comes to gaming and 3D that really make things pop. Let's go back to the jacket for a second. And let's do some manual painting on that. So we'll flood this. And let's hit auto generate on the jacket, just like that. And actually, out of the gate, let's pause the animation. Out of the gate, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that. I actually don't even need to touch it up as much as I thought I would. So let's go, oops, let's play that. Yeah, there we go. So your question about physics, what you'll do is you'll actually export. So you can see here the simulation in red channel. that is the physics maps. And when you hit export in the texture maps folder, you're actually going to see physics maps as well. And we have videos in terms of Unreal Engine and Unity we'll on our channel where you can actually see how to hook those up. It's pretty straightforward. That'll actually be sped up with our Unity and Unreal plugins that are coming later. That way you'll just hit export, send to, and it'll automatically just work. I'm going to pause for a second, answer some questions. Let's see. Can I mint the avatar as a 3D NFT and sell it on third-party marketplaces? If it's your own avatar that you own the rights to and it's your own clothing that you own the rights to, yes. But if you're using other people's content, no. How does it handle clothes that have been weighted in CC4? Does MT use its own algorithm for scanning and override CC4? So that's a great question. As of right now, the physics don't transfer back and forth either way. But if you do want to apply physics in Character Creator, you can still do that manually, or you can do it in MetaTailor and then use those maps later on. That is going to change, and we will allow the kind of transfer back and forth of physics. Are we allowed to train an AI LLM with the engine render output? So this is supposed to be royalty free. No, you cannot train the AI. AI usage is strictly prohibited with MetaTailor at the moment. If that is the use case that you were looking to do, we do have special licensing just for that. So reach out to us and we can talk more about that. Any idea why I'm not getting the MetaTailor button on my CC Revolution Hub? Make sure that you hit this little refresh button on your hub to make sure that the plugin shows up, or restart your hub completely. And then make sure you have Character Creator selected and plugins selected, and you'll see it as the first one. Any tips on getting the dynamics deformation looking smoother in Unreal? Was messing with the cape, and I see that there's a lot of triangles in the deformation. Yeah, there is ways to smooth it. We actually have a video on that. One of our users made a video on that on our channel. I could find that and put it in Discord as well. There is ways to smooth it. However, one thing we have seen is when someone puts a super high poly item on something that's low poly, you might get a little bit of that unsmooth kind of silhouette because of the low poly item pushing on the outside layer. That's something that we don't have a solution for at the moment because you're just simply using two very, very different poly count items. But we are looking into things. Did you check the Star-Lord? Yeah, Star-Lord. Love the hat jacket. Sadly, it doesn't load on CC4. Sadly, it doesn't load on CC4 from MT even when the cap. Okay. If you are getting an issue where it's not loading and it's not sending back to Character Creator 4, there's one really quick fix you can do. And we're looking at why this is, and we'll have an update for it very soon. If it's not sending back from MetaTailor to Character Creator, close Character Creator completely, then hit the send to CC4 button. It's going to open up Character Creator by itself. It's going to load up MetaTailor or load up Character Creator. It's going to give you an error, but then once you get the error, just select the avatar that you have in MetaTailor and then hit send to again. So basically all I'm saying is do the same thing that you've been doing, except have Character Creator completely closed before doing it. That should fix your problem. I've run into that a couple times, but it's random. So we're trying to, when bugs are completely random like that, it makes them a little difficult, but we will have a fix for that. So going on to the next feature I want to talk about is the mesh extractor. This one is personally my favorite because it allows you to do so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the character tab in Character Creator here. And let's see, characters, and we're going to load up something that has already been traced. Let me go here. I'm going to go with where I just saw it. This is one of my favorites. I just think it looks so good. So I'm going to let that load up for a second. Yeah, this outfit just looks really good. So I'm going to use this one. Now we're going to remove the axe for a second, just so we have the outfit by itself. So here we have it. Obviously, this is a standard Character Creator avatar with standard Character Creator outfit. Looks really good. So what we're going to do first is we're going to just hit the MetaTailor button on top of Character Creator. Let it do its thing, transfer over. Use the MetaTailor bridge. while that's doing its thing, I'm going to answer some questions. Zen, message me in Discord and we'll get it solved for you. There's a couple things we can try with your end, and we'll get that solved for you. Sorry you're having issues. If you're going to post that link for the smoother deformations, that'd be dope. Yeah, we can, after the live stream, just ping me in Discord and we'll get that posted and make sure everyone can see it. It should be on the YouTube channel, but I'll make sure it's just easy for you to find. Okay, so I sent this character fully dressed over to MetaTailor. Now, it has all the textures on it, everything's set up, good to go. I'm gonna hit next step. Now this is, again, this is my favorite feature because what you can do with this is pretty extraordinary. So, we have our different outfits here. Now, MetaTailor has already gone ahead and modulated everything for me. But all I have to do is select the different categories. So we'll call these shoes. The helmet, we'll just say is head. The pauldron, we'll just call this a shirt because it sits on the shoulders, kind of like a shirt. The tasset, we'll just call that pants. The only reason this matters is just where it goes in your content browser. Not a huge deal, but this just allows you to assign it to where you want it. For these, we'll say pants. For the tunic, we'll say shirt. And for the vambrace, we'll just say, you could call that a glove, but the setup is a little different for a glove. So we're just going to call that a shirt as well. Again, those categories are just for you. Those are complete personal preference. I'm going to hit next step. Right now we have this character. We'll hit next step again. Now, this is where things get really, really cool. So what that just did is MetaTailor completely modulated that entire outfit coming from Character Creator. So we're going to let it do its thing. And now we have a fully dynamic. Now it layered everything on top of each other. We'll fix that. But all of the independent items that were a part of this character are now fully dynamic smart mesh. So let's go ahead and solve the layering here. So let's say the tasset should go on top of the pants. Okay, cool. The pauldron was on top of the tunic. And we'll put the helmet just on top of everything just to make sure that layers correctly. And let's see, that looks pretty good. Oh, let's tuck the shirt in underneath. So again, I'm just going through the dynamic layering system and I'm adjusting things to how they should be. Let's move this over a little bit. It's trying to layer the boots underneath the pants. Let's move that on top so it tucks those in. Really nice. Now, I'm going to do just a minor touch up here. I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to smooth this out real quick because there is some overlap there. Nothing too crazy, but there is a little bit of overlap there. Just going to hit smooth on it very gently. Nothing too crazy. That's good enough. Now, just so we can see in MetaTailor first, we'll throw an animation on. Perfect. Everything works flawlessly. Now, what's really cool about this is we can start adjusting things now. So let's say we have everything that's completely modular. Now, let's say I went to the Daz Marketplace and I bought some medieval stuff. So we'll just type in some knight stuff. So, okay, I have a shoulder pad here. Let's apply that. And matter of fact, let's move it to the other side just for the sake of demo. Let's just go to something like this. There we go. Just get that kind of aligned there. Hit confirm. And, maybe we want to tuck that underneath the pauldron. So we'll go here, we'll tuck that underneath. Right, so now it's there, but it's sitting underneath the pauldron. Let's do something else. Let's do a piece of chest armor. So we'll throw this chest armor on there. We'll layer it underneath everything that it needs to be layered underneath. So we'll go maybe down here. Perfect, just like that. And we'll turn the layering off for the glove. There we go. Let's throw an animation on just to see. There we go. Running animation. Nice. So that looks really nice. Let's change the helmet. Why not? Let's remove the helmet and then maybe let me just go to the helmet category or head category and see what we can find. So I like this one. This one looks cool. This knight helmet. Let's tuck it underneath the pauldron there. And then maybe I'll mess with the textures a little bit. And let's see, helmet. Yeah, so you can see it's not adjusting the helmet because it's a separate mesh group, but it's adjusting the chainmail underneath. So we'll just make that really bright metallic, just like that. Now we can do the same thing here too. Make this a little more metallic. Same thing on this side. Now these textures doing this may not transfer over, but it's just for visualization so we can see it in MetaTailor. So there we have it, just like that. Now I'm gonna go to export. I'm gonna send this back to CC. We'll let it do its thing. There we go. And then I'm going to do some physics on this after so you guys can see what that would look like. So it's going to import everything, let it do its thing, all the new stuff I added, all the textures, everything like that. But again, let's just assume that we bought some of the items that I added. Let's assume we bought the chest armor from Daz. We bought the shoulder piece from Fab. Like we're kit bashing, if you will, all of these different clothing items and assets together to then flawlessly work inside of Character Creator. So we're going to let that do its thing. Look at that. Wow. And I have to admit, you know, MetaTailor's viewport is decent, but Character Creator really goes above and beyond with their viewport. I mean, it really makes textures and things just pop out and look really, really amazing. Really, really amazing. So I got to give them credit there. Looks really nice. So let's just center on the character here. And let's see here. Yeah, that looks really, really nice. So let's throw an animation on there just to see it. So this animation on, we got to select the character, of course. Throw this animation on. Wow. Yeah, that looks really nice. So again, I just took these random items off. And let's assume they were from different marketplaces. Now everything flawlessly works. Question here, if I use MetaTailor, I own my own meshes, clothing, avatar, and there's any limitations on output usage, AI training, third party? Yes, even if it's your own stuff as of right now, because you're using MetaTailor's algorithms to then have an output for AI training, that is against the terms of service. We have separate licenses for that, but the base MetaTailor license does not allow for AI training, even if it's your own content, because at the end of the day, you're using the MetaTailor algorithms to build that content. That's a different rule for gaming, but AI usage is a very unique space right now, and things are constantly evolving. So one thing we can do now is let's just see. I'm curious to know. I want to throw some physics on this tunic here. So let's go back to design and oops, center that back. So let's see, let me brighten this viewport a little bit so you guys can see it better. There we go. Let's see what this would look like. So we're going to look at just basic skin weighted. Okay, cool. Let's do some physics on the tacit here. So let that do its thing, calculate the physics. Wait, auto-generate first. Wow, just auto-generate alone makes that look really, really nice. I would say the back of it is probably a little too physics. So let's bring that strength down and paint the back a little bit. Because I think the leather would move, but I don't think it'd be as fluent as that. But the piece on the front would move a lot because it's cloth. So let's really hit this hard in this area here. Yeah, look at that. So now we have pretty hard or pretty aggressive physics on the front here. And it's a little bit stiffer on the back, right? It's a little bit stiffer because it's leather, so that wouldn't move quite as much. And let's throw an animation on there again just to see it. Yeah, that looks really nice. That looks really nice. But again, you can export these physics maps that we've generated in MetaTailor straight to Engine and hook those up in Engine. Let's do one more mesh extractor because I just love the mesh extractor so much. We'll go back to the home screen here. We're not going to save that project. And let's go to how about something like, you know what? Actually, I have another idea. Let's go to characters. Let's try this guy. I actually have not tried this yet. But let's try this one out. So pretty aggressive proportions here, of course. You know, pretty aggressive shape and size and proportions of avatar. We're gonna see how this happens and works in real time. I have not tested this yet. Let's do it though. Hit send over. Do CC live TC test. Hit confirm. There we go. Now you are, okay, so this character up here, you're gonna see an error. So this is something we need to cover, and this is gonna change with more updates to MetaTailor. But at the moment, this character can only be sent to MetaTailor, and I don't believe it can be sent back because it's not a standard, it's the I avatar, it's not a standard CC avatar. We're gonna do it anyway though, we're gonna test it out and see. So let's modulate the pants here. Call those pants. Either way though, if you want to use this in Engine, you can still go from MetaTailor to Engine. You don't necessarily have to go back to Character Creator. That's just to go back and forth, but you don't have to necessarily do that. Let's hit next step. Okay, so this guy is actually missing the mesh because of the pants. This is gonna be interesting. Let's go back. That may not work well. Let's just include the pants and we'll layer on top of those. So let's see. For this character, we're gonna need to do a little bit of touch up. So let's just say the skull crown is up here, nose tip. Neck base is probably somewhere in here. Skull base, I would say, is somewhere around there. Let's make sure everything else lines up. Toes are a little far. Maybe I'll put them like somewhere right here. Knees are good, legs are good, belly's good. Nipple area here, let's just move that somewhere back a little bit there. Somewhere here. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe the skull. The neck's tricky, he's got kind of a hunchback. Let's move the neck back a little bit. So let's just see how this does. We'll hit next step. Let it do its thing for a second. Let's see, another question. What about 3D avatar NFT minting and 3D marketplace sales? My own meshes. Use mint. So if you're using your own meshes or you're trying to mint an NFT, kind of like a PFP kind of deal, that's an interesting one. Message me on Discord and I'll chat with the team about that. I need to double check on the licensing. I don't want to speak out of turn and say something I'm not supposed to. Do you have a MetaTailor download for the plugin to work, or is the standard? Wait, do you have to have MetaTailor downloaded for the plugin to work, or is the plugin standalone? Yes, you have to have MetaTailor downloaded because the plugin is inside of MetaTailor. And the plugin on the MetaTailor side is for pro users. And all the plugins that we release for MetaTailor are going to be included in your pro subscription. So we have this character here. Let's just start throwing things on and see what works. Okay, so this little bit of clipping, we can adjust the thickness here and pretty much get rid of all that clipping. Let's see what happened with the back here. Okay, let's see what happened with the mesh. Okay, let's just move that back a little bit and see if it fixes itself. It could fix itself. Okay, let's scale it up just a little bit. That could be the issue. Scale it up just a little bit, move it forward, make it a little shorter. Okay, it's getting better. Move it back just a little bit more. There we go. It's getting a lot better. So with a little bit of adjustments, we can sit here and kind of fix that. We'll increase that thickness a bit. And another thing we could do. Let's actually try this. I'm gonna go to clothing. I'm gonna do an assembly. Let's try the football character. Okay. Okay, so that looks pretty nice. Let's move the shirt back just a little bit here. Okay. And the one thing we can do, because this is pretty common, is we can actually just hide these polygons just for the sake of the demo. We could do more manual work to get it to sit properly, but let's just hide these for now. Hit confirm. All right. Now the feet, let's get the feet inside the shoes. We can do a pose matching to get those aligned better. We'll just kind of really gently move these out, move the heels back a little bit. See how that looks. Okay, let's try this. Maybe just scale them up just a hair. So his feet are pretty awkward. His feet are pretty big and awkward. It's kind of like the Hulk character that we've used before. But let's just see if we can get these kind of tucked into these shoes here. Okay. So for the sake of the demo, again, I'm just going to paint these out. So we have some shoes on it. Let's throw an animation on there just to see. Okay, well, there's your animation. He has blue jeans on underneath, so we layered on top of that. So you're getting a little bit of clip through. We can actually turn auto visibility on. And it should get rid of, yeah, it'll get rid of that clipping. Let's turn that back off for a second. You can see the animations work. It's all rigged. Let's attempt to send this back. I'm not 100% sure it'll work, but let's just see what happens. Okay, I've not messed with this yet. Let's just hit okay and see what happens. Well, that's our character. It's getting there. It's loading. Let it do its thing. This is looking promising. I've not tested one of the eye avatars yet. So this is we're all seeing this happen real time. While this is going, I'm going to answer some questions. Is a 3D mesh mint not PFP JPEG? Yeah, that's okay. It's still minting. It's still an NFT. So ping me on Discord and we'll talk about that more. 2K Films, I'm literally watching you become a millionaire. Consider me a day one. I know the name. You've been a day one for sure. You were part of our early access crew, so I remember you for sure. It's always great when you have the official launch, your stuff isn't working. Any idea why? Also crashed as soon as I tried to download the free piece of clothing. Nick D, please message me in Discord. We'll get this resolved for you by the end of the day. Obviously, launch day, some things may not work for everybody. Most people haven't had issues. We haven't had a couple of weird edge cases, but we'll make sure we get you up and running. Message me in Discord and we'll get that taken care of. How you insult the guy on the answer? Thanks, 2K. Let's see here. Discord handles Jordan at MetaTailor. I'll link the Discord in chat right now just so you guys can message me for the people I'm telling, and then I'm going to get back to the demo here. So here's the Discord in chat. There you go. That's not the right link. Disregard that. Do this one more time. And that also is not the right link. Okay, well, I'll get that to you guys at the end of the stream. We'll worry about that later. So we have our character here in Character Creator. Let's see if we can throw, I don't know if there are animations work on something like this. Let's see. Just so we can see the animation in Character Creator as well. Make sure we have the avatar selected. There we go. And we'll just do a kind of basic animation here. There you have it. So same thing, just in MetaTailor, now in Character Creator. Just like that. Now let's adjust some stuff. Maybe we'll tuck in shirt to the pants. And then let's try an accessory. Let's throw an accessory on here. So maybe let's go with something like, I don't know, let's go with an axe. I'm just gonna throw an axe in his hand or something. See how that looks. God, his hands are huge. His hands are massive. Let's rotate that the other way. And then just make that a little bit bigger or a lot bigger. There we go. Let's send this back to Character Creator. And the axe should attach. We'll see if it does. It should attach to the hand there. Handle is this. All right, we'll hit OK. Bring everything over. All right, now we have an axe in the hand. So accessories, you can bring accessories over as well. Let that do its thing for a second. And by the way, guys, I'm not, I'm on both builds I'm on are completely public. So if you are having issues that you're not seeing me having, definitely reach out on Discord and we'll get you taken care of. The textures, it's being a little slow on the textures for the axe. Oh, there it goes. So let's throw an animation back on there and just see how it looks with the axe in the hand. I would not, I would not want to go against this guy on a football field. That is for sure. So there we have it. Now, of course, all of your character creator tools still work. So just because it's using the MetaTailor plugin doesn't mean the character stuff doesn't work. So for example, if I want to edit this mesh, I can still use all of the brushes and everything inside of MetaTailor. If I want to sculpt it, I can still do anything like this. All this still works. So anything you want to do in here still works. If I want to, let's say, go to here. So you can see too that this character has a bunch of blend shapes. Obviously, these are all mouth blend shapes. But if I go to, let's remove the, let's go to a different character here and we'll show you what the blend shape stuff, because the blend shape stuff is new to MetaTailor. That was part of our last update. We'll go to something like this avatar. We won't save anything. Do you guys have competition in this? It seems like you made your own lane with this. We certainly did make our own lane. The only competition we have at the moment is people's like when we're talking to a big game studio, they're very prideful about their existing workflow that they built. So they use a combination of like 6 different tools to get the same result that we do with just one tool. And they spend a ton of time doing so, but they're very prideful about that pipeline that they built. So our biggest competitor is just like people's willingness to switch to something new. That's really what it boils down to. Let me see, I believe this character, yes. So we're gonna send this over. It should have the blend shapes attached. Let's just see what happens. So we'll hit send. And when I hit send and I have this character already open, the one I had in MetaTailor already open, I hope YouTube doesn't flag this for nudity. It's hardly even a real avatar. What next step? Next step again. These are all good. Hit next step again. It's gonna ask me if I want to transfer the clothing over to the new avatar. So we'll hit transfer and just see what happens here. It should do everything perfectly. The axe is a little off because it was so big. Let's just remove that for now. So we just brought this character in. Let me see if this character has, so it does have the blend shapes, but it is on the face only. So what I'm gonna do, let's see, let me make sure, face, face, face. Yeah, these are all face. Is there anything I can do that would show? Yeah, nothing too crazy here. I do want to hit randomize just for fun though and see what happens. Yeah, so these are just face blend shapes. But if this character did have body blend shapes, you would be able to, matter of fact, I can just show you what that would be like. So if I go to content browser and I go to avatars here, and I just select one of the, I'm gonna do one of these, and I'm gonna take it off the screen so I don't get flagged for nudity here. But it's transferring over essentially. Okay, so we have that transferred over. Now, if I go down here, and we increase these blend shapes and then hit bake into mesh, you'll see that it actually will rebake the clothing onto the blend shapes. So if you did have a character creator avatar that did have body blend shapes on it, you'd be able to just adjust these here. So I can go to, fat, I can do muscular, so all that stuff. And then I'd be able to transfer that over. But for the sake of the demo, let's go back to the avatar that I just brought over. Let me find it. I think it was this one. Transfer all that over. Just like that. Okay. Now let's do a new outfit here. Let's go to something. Let's try this one. It's elegant female outfit. So this is obviously pretty unique, and you character artists out there will know. Is the final shooting game using your guys' software that use metahumans with a bunch? You're not the first person that said that. We've heard that quite a few times. We're not aware of them using it, but I played the game myself, and I'm kind of skeptical. We need to get to the bottom of that because that could be an issue. But let's see what the physics look like on this character. So we're going to go to running. Now, you character artists and outfit artists out there know when you're trying to do skin weights on a dress, it's just a nightmare. So let's throw some physics on this dress. And we'll hit auto generate just to see. So let's slow this down a little bit. Yeah, so definitely much better. Now the proxy mesh is causing a little bit of rigid edges, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. But that is a very, very good place to start with physics, right? Let's throw some physics on this as well. Get that belt moving a lot. Screw it, we'll throw physics on the whole thing. Now the whole thing has physics. So again, you can take these physics back and use them in Engine with you. But for the sake of the demo, let's go back to just the skin weighted version. And let's transfer this over to Character Creator. And I'm going to see, it's been a while since I've used Character Creator physics just in their tool, but I'm going to test it and see if maybe I can throw some physics on this. It may not work. Let me test something. I'm going to do something that you guys asked me to do earlier, and I'm going to actually export the physics maps and see if I can hook those up in Character Creator here. So bear with me for a second. I'm going to actually see if I can hook those texture or those physics up in here. So give me just a second. Where did that go? Oh, that's because I clicked the wrong button. That might help. Let's hit the export button instead. There we go. So I should have my physics colors in here. Vertex color, yeah. So I do have my colors. Let me do simulation in red and export that as well, just so I can get two different ones and test both of them. Textures, yep, there it is. I see it. So we're gonna actually hook this up in Character Creator and see what happens. I just lost it though. Where did it go? There it is, okay. So let's go to the dress first. Let's go to physics. Let's go activate physics. Okay, so no physics on it yet. Let's go to the weight map. And then let's bring in our own weight map here. And again, I'm not 100% sure this is going to work, but it might give us something, a baseline to go off of here. Yes, let's do that. And then I think I'm doing something wrong here. Let me see. I think I need to increase this and this. And then there's a physics and rigid body. Yeah. So that's why the transfer doesn't work right now. But let's see if we can bring the brightness down and just slowly increase the brightness on the physics, maybe the contrast. It's a little too high. Brightness. So this is this is just a simple function of Character Creator's physics. MetaTailor generates the correct maps, but Character Creator's physics is not quite able to use those. And I think that's just a function of their physics engine. But we're working on ways to get around that. So that should, by the way, physics right now, just based on the conversations we've had with their team, is something we're looking at for when Character Creator 5 comes out. So that's really the goal for that. Hopefully we can get something working sooner. But again, like I said earlier, you still have the physics maps and you can hook those up in Engine. Just because you can't use them in Character Creator is not that big of a deal. So we'll turn physics off. I'm going to hop over here and answer some questions. My apologies if you already answered this question, but do cloth simulations transfer to CC4 also? No. So yeah, I think you see where so you see how it works out. It does for some things, but some things it explodes on. For example, like if I use, let me go over here and bring in, where's that character at? So like this guy right here, I'm pretty sure if I use this character, let's test it. Let's test the physics on here. Let's see, bring these up. So we have some physics on there. Now, I believe if I were to have taken this item, let me look at what the physics maps look like. Weight paint. Yeah, okay. Let's try this. I'm going to send this to MetaTailor. And then I believe if I actually export not the red channel, but just the basic weight white channel, it should work. I've already modulated all this. We're just going to quickly do this. I'm going to just do random categories here. This only matters for where you want it in your browser. I'm not worried about it at the moment. Next step. Next step. I'm going to attempt to use the channel that they use and see if we can get something to work there. Because I have gotten something to work before. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Well, it's going to layer a ton of things up now. Yeah. Let's remove all of this. And let's fix this. So here, here, and here. Remove the axe for now. So let's go paint some physics on, oh, let me bring that above. Let's paint physics just on this one item. So we'll see how the physics look. Okay, so we'll do this. Let me fix the shoes for a second. And again, just basic smoothing here for the shoes, just because they overlap a lot. And Character Creator specifically is a pretty severe kind of A pose on the legs there. So I'm not going to be super careful with it. I'm just going to kind of layer these things out. All right, that's good enough. So we generated the physics. Let's make sure we still have those. So we have the physics on there. Let's attempt to export the white channel, and we'll just night test or whatever. Hit export. And then let's pull those maps. Let me see here. Let's see. Where is the physics map? Diffuse, diffuse, diffuse. No, no, no. Let me make sure I have all the stuff I need. Let's export that again because I'm not getting the white channel. Do that again. Let's see, there's the AO map. Yeah, so at the moment, it does not work the way you guys are asking. But again, if you want to take those maps into Engine and hook those up, you can. But that will be fixed for ideally CC5 launch. That's what we're planning on. But back to Character Creator here. So what I'm going to do is we obviously see that we had this outfit. I had it on the Toon avatar, so the shirt's a little messed up, but let's throw some different things on here. So we'll remove this. Let's just throw the whole blacksmith pack on here and see what happens. Okay, so it layered everything outside. Let's keep I want to remove this. Let's layer this entire assembly underneath everything else. I'm going to remove the accessories for now. And then we have two pairs of pants. Let's remove their pants. Let's keep their shoes. So I'm going to remove the blacksmith shoes. And then I'm going to tuck, so the shirt, I'm going to tuck in to the pants. The shoes are tucked in. And then let's remove the glove, the vambrace. Let's mirror this over. It duplicated the whole thing, but that actually looks pretty cool. Kind of like that. And then let's fix the boots a little bit. Just smooth that out. Use the relax brush. Just like that. Let me shrink wrap the pants just a hair. There we go. Let's fix that right there. Yeah, let's fix that. Just pull that out. There we go. Okay, now what else do we want to add to this? Let's do like a dagger. I like the dagger. Oh, this is a dagger pack. So let me move like one over here. Matter of fact, let's do this. I always love doing this with accessories. Let's move the dagger here and actually tuck it into that belt. So let's see how that looks. So I'm going to move it like right there. And then let's actually move that. We'll take that out of the assembly. We'll move it underneath the belt there. Nice. Nice. That looks really nice. And then, not sure what happened here. Let's just fix this real quick. It's going to bother me. Oh, maybe because I had the layering wrong on that. Let's just smooth that out. There we go. Yes, it's trying to layer on top of. Okay. Let's do the other dagger, maybe on the other side. So something like that. Let's move that in. And then we'll rotate it. And we'll stick it underneath the belt on this side. So we'll kind of just get that maybe right, yep, right there. And then we're going to tuck that underneath the belt as well, but still on top of everything else. All right, it's clipping just a little bit. Let's just rotate it a hair. There we go. So that's tucked in. What else do we want to do? Let me fix this real quick because that's going to bother me. I become a perfectionist really fast when it comes to this stuff. Let's just tuck that in. Okay, it's pulling on. Let's do this. Let's increase the thickness of these just a little bit. Yeah, it's trying to tuck in those, but there must be an article of. Let's do this. Yeah, that's what it is. It's too tight, so it's trying to push it in. Oh, you know what? Are these capped? These might be capped. That could be why. Yeah, they're capped boots. That's why it's exploding a little bit. No worries. What else do we want to do? I'm open to suggestions if you guys have any. Let me see some questions coming in. The CC4 does have an open, and a real pose native that keeps. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that could be interesting because then you could just export that and you wouldn't have to worry about any stretching in between the legs. Is there a way to activate them in iClone? Activate the physics, do you mean, in iClone? Is that your question? We're going to keep adding a couple things to this. I'm just going to remove the helmet. Let's go to clothing. Let's go to head. Actually, let's do hair. We'll throw some male hair on there. We'll do the classic short hair. There we go. And then we'll throw let's go to head. Find something cool. How about something like, this could be cool. Let's do the hood. This is from a completely different pack. But let's tuck that hood underneath. So let's just take it and drag it down here. Right, so it's going to sit underneath. But you know what? Oh, I pulled it underneath the hair. There we go. Let's bring the hair back underneath that. Yeah, okay. Now let's adjust the hood a little bit. I think I want to have it sit further back on the head. So I'm just going to use the grab brush. There's other ways to do this too, but I'm just going to, for now, I'm just going to use the grab brush and just kind of pull this back. Just to kind of adjust it a little bit. I'm not going to be super precise with this at the moment. This is just so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. And then let's move this down. I'll move these out of the way. Okay. So it's going to sit on top of the hair. I don't love that. Let's move these in. Let's move the sides in just a little bit. I'm going to grab this and just pull it in. Same thing on the other side, just kind of pull it in. There we go. So it's sitting on top of the hair. Now let's do something on the face. Can we do like a mask? Ooh, the bandana could be cool. Let's try the bandana. Let's move that bandana up over his nose and forward so it doesn't clip on his tip of his nose. There we go. Now let's move the bandana underneath the hood. There we go. And then is there something we can put on the eyes? I don't think sunglasses would be the right choice here. Let me see here if we have something for the eyes. Something medieval. I'm not sure what even a medieval eye cover would look like, actually. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to picture one from like a game or a movie. Okay, let's not do that because I don't want to. I'm going for a certain style here. But then maybe we could do something for. What else could we do here? I'm open to suggestions. You guys have an eye patch. That's a good idea. Yeah. That's a perfect idea. I just saw one. Let's throw the eye patch on. I know I just saw it. Let's see. Let's type it in. There it is. Pirate eye patch. Great idea. That's going to layer outside. Let's pull that underneath. Nice. I don't love this bandana. Let's switch that out with something. I saw a cooler one. Let's do something like. Yeah, this one's cool. Yeah, now we're talking. Let's tuck that underneath. That looks pretty good. I like that. Wow, that looks really nice. And then maybe we do. I'm just gonna look at pants here and see if we have any other, let me see. Do we have any armor for the legs? I know we did somewhere. Let's see. How tall are these boots? Let's switch the boots out. I'm cool with that. And then we'll mirror those over. Okay, it doesn't quite fit this style, but we're getting somewhere. Let's increase the metallic on those a little bit. Okay, let's send this back and see how it comes out. So I'm going to hit send to CC4. While it's doing that, I'm going to answer some questions. Is there a way to yes, the physics or simulations for the claw, since that's the only software I use at the moment. I just want to. You can still generate physics maps in iClone. You can still generate your own. I don't see why that would be an issue. It's just transferring them back from MetaTailor is the only issue at the moment. Oh, it's like I broke Character Creator there for a second. Let's send it back over to Character Creator. iPatch, crazy workflow. Yeah, it's been something we've been working on for over a year now, so we're pretty excited about it. And you guys will see, so one of the bugs I was talking about earlier, where if it doesn't send over, see right there, I just hit send to CC4 and it launched Character Creator for me. All I'm going to have to do is just navigate to the same avatar I already had. So let me do that. While we're waiting on that, I'm going to test an animation just to see. Throw the mesh polling on there. Okay, a little bit of stretching between the legs, but that's not a huge deal. We can fix that pretty quickly. Oh, I see why. It's the straps they're touching. So let's just do this. Grab it, and we'll just pull it in just a little bit. Boop, just like that. Now they won't be touching. Perfect. Let's go back to CC. Let's load up. Don't want to do that. Let's load up the character that I had. So let's just do this. Now we're going to try to send it one more time and see if we have any issues. Hopefully not. Could be the axe being the issue, but let's just double check. Send that over and see what happens. Did you build everything yourself or do you have a team? We do have a team. We're a small team right now. But we've been working on MetaTailor for, we've been in gaming in 3D for 7 years. But we've been working on MetaTailor for 5, and then MetaTailor officially launched 2 years ago. Okay, so something is going wrong. I think it's probably the accessories. So I'm gonna note this and make sure I share it with the team. I think I went a little crazy with some of the accessories, so I'll continue to test this off stream. But that really covers. So today we went over obviously just the overall bridge back and forth between MetaTailor and Character Creator. We did the mix and matching. So when you have a character in MetaTailor, you still have full access to all of the layering tech, all the tools, all the physics, everything inside of MetaTailor for the Character Creator avatars. So we mix and match different things. I showed you guys the real-time adjustments of physics and brushes and all that stuff, still being able to manipulate stuff in MetaTailor and just having it to basically like live link back to Character Creator when you make adjustments with layering and stuff like that. And then I showed you guys the mesh extractor, which allows you to bring in a fully clothed avatar into Character Creator or into MetaTailor from Character Creator and modulate all the clothing out. One thing I want to ask you guys though is when it comes to the workflow that you guys are dealing with, I'm very curious to know, are you using, what's more beneficial to you? And I'm going to ask for a 1 or a 2 in chat. 1 is I'm using Character Creator avatars, but I have a lot of content that lives that I purchased off of Daz, or I purchased off of Fab, or I purchased off DG Trader that I simply want to get to work on a character creator avatar because I'm using the character creator avatar for my game. Or number two is I want to use character creator content off their marketplace on a MetaHuman avatar. And I'm not using character creator avatars, but I am using their marketplace. So give me a 1 or a 2 in chat for those 2 options, or both. I'm open to both. But we want to learn more about the user workflow that you guys are using for MetaTailor. So if you could, just give me a 1 or a 2. I'll reiterate them again. 1 is I'm using a character creator avatar and I'm using content from other marketplaces, and I want to quickly get the content on the character creator avatar. 2, I'm using MetaHumans, but I want to use the character creator marketplace to get character creator stuff onto the MetaHuman avatar. So 1 and 2. I see a 1, I see a 2, a very enthusiastic 2. I see another 1. Okay. Okay, interesting. Interesting. And 2 buffer animation for me. Yep. That's interesting because we have a lot of users that, and you guys are probably the same way, that have purchased, just over the years, have purchased a ton of content from all these different marketplaces. And the reality is you can import any of that content into MetaTailor, and then as soon as you import, it immediately fits any character creator avatar, and you can transfer that back to character creator. So it really, really helps you literally be able to use any content you could ever dream and want to use on your character creator avatar. So I'm seeing a pretty even split between 1 and 2. So that's good to know. We've seen a lot of users that, they've purchased a lot of stuff off of the DAZ marketplace, and they want to use that on character creators and even MetaHumans too. But that's really interesting to see how people are gonna, adopt this, because it's one thing to put out a tool and expect people to do a certain thing with it, but it's a whole, watching how people take it and do different things with it is always very, very interesting to watch. Mainly using Reallusion content since I know it's going to fit. That makes sense. But if you want more control over the character creator content, the Reallusion content, you bring it in MetaTailor and then do whatever you want to it, and then send it back to character creator for sure. MetaHumans have gotten kind of blah, so exploring. Yeah, I agree with you. MetaHuman hasn't really seen many updates in years, so we're very excited for what's to come with CC5. The fidelity, obviously a lot of people went with MetaHuman early on because the fidelity, but with Character Creator 5 coming out, that is going to expand a lot of things. And with the MetaTailor plugin with CC5, I mean, that's the dream tool right there. That's the dream workflow. I mean, you could do anything with it. Yeah, that's going to be really amazing. So I covered all the main things I want to cover for the live stream today. I'm going to leave it open another few minutes just to answer any questions you guys have about the workflow, about how to get started, anything like that. Again, if you missed the beginning, to get started, the MetaTailor pipeline plugin is sitting in the Reallusion hub, and then on the MetaTailor side, the plugin is sitting in the plugins tab. And just make sure you have it enabled and make sure you have the correct path to your character creator executable. And then from that point, it'll just launch and work once you hit the button on the export tab. Looking over at chat here, let's see what we got. I'm currently clothing a bunch of content for music and artists with MetaTailor. Awesome. Can't wait to see that. I do content at DAZ 3D and thinking of jumping to UE. Interesting. We have a lot of artists that have jumped from DAZ because MetaTailor has its own marketplace as well where you can sell your own content. And on the MetaTailor marketplace, we offer up to 90% royalties. So a roll, if that's something you're interested in, message me on Discord and we can get you set up as a MetaTailor marketplace creator, and all the stuff that you list. So here's the difference. When you list something on DAZ or Fab, that stuff only fits DAZ or Fab characters. When you list something in MetaTailor, it fits any character. So your distribution is infinite. You don't have to worry about just supporting one type of ecosystem. I want to make custom clothing for CC characters to use with iClone. Awesome. Metahuman, great fidelity, but all characters felt samey. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. A lot of the, it's one of those things where when you see a metahuman on screen, it's like pretty obvious it's a metahuman. So we've definitely seen that a lot. As far as the installation for the plugin goes, per your initial instructions, it says to open CC4, then install plugin from Hub. However, this results in an error making you close CC4. Open, this is open CC4, then install. You don't, no, so you don't want Character Creator open when you're installing that plugin. So you want to close Character Creator out completely, then install the plugin on the Hub, then relaunch Character Creator. Give that a shot and see if it fixes it. Bring your own FBX base into CC4. The clothes don't just fit. There's a lot of manual work. Yeah, that's true. If you're just bringing basic clothes that you bought off the internet into CC4, they will not. I mean, it's very rare that they just fit. And then not only do they not fit, the layering won't be there. So unless you model the layering in there, then it won't be there. So that's why you bring it to Character. You bring it to MetaTailor and then bring it back over. Bring your own. Let's see. Per the video. Are you gonna see more high poly clothes coming soon? Yes. So to be clear on the, because we get this question a lot for VFX. We get this question a lot for VFX. So high poly items are very requested in the VFX community. Whether or not we sell and have high poly stuff on the marketplace is actually up to the artists that sell through MetaTailor. So if you are an artist that does very high fidelity, high poly clothing, you can sell that in MetaTailor and we'll label it as like VFX ready. So right now, a lot of our sellers in the marketplace content is game focused content because it's low poly and it works in games well. But if you are an artist that makes a lot of VFX, high poly, high quality stuff, reach out to us in Discord and we can get you set up as a seller. Per the video released yesterday, yeah, we need to double check that video then, but try doing it without Character Creator open first, because I don't think it'll update if Character Creator is already open. Windows wouldn't install apps as virus detected. One other person said this. I'm not sure where this is coming from. The only thing that I am aware of in terms of Windows having an issue with MetaTailor is Microsoft actually messed up our verification, and we're working on getting that fixed. But when you get a window that says, are you sure you want to install the unverified app? At the bottom, it'll say install anyway or show more. And you just go ahead with the install anyway. The only thing, Windows just has a thing where all that does is they do that so they make money. So they make you pay them to host an app on Windows or have an app compatible to be downloaded on Windows. It doesn't change anything in terms of, it's not a virus. It's not like you're downloading some malware. You're downloading the same MetaTailor that I have, that everyone else, like all of our 40,000 users have on their computers. So I can guarantee you it's safe. But you may, some users see it, some users don't. Some users see a pop-up that says, hey, are you sure you want to run this? It's the same thing if like you go to a website that is safe, that you've been to before, and it says, are you sure you want to proceed? It's the same kind of situation there. So again, I'll stick around for a few more minutes and answer any questions you guys have. But other than that, thank you all for coming out and watching the stream today. I did see a question earlier: is will this stream be posted? Yes, it'll be posted on YouTube. It'll be on our channel after the stream is over. I used an old download from a trial last year. Oh, if you use an old download from a trial last year and you were part of like an early access group, that was a different build. So make sure you do have the latest build. If you want the latest build, you can get it from the website. Just go to the download. And then just delete the old build from your computer. And you want to make sure you're on version 2.4.0.2. That's the latest version, 2.4.0.2. Yeah, 2K. So it happened for him too. It's a thing that happens to some people and doesn't for others. It's really annoying. It's just a way for Microsoft to make some money. Speaking of 2K films, it's funny that that's your name. I'm sure you may have seen, we actually signed 2K games. So MetaTailor is now the official clothing tool for the NBA 2K clothing pipeline. So if you guys are basketball fans, in the next NBA 2K, you'll actually see, you should see MetaTailor in the credits, and you will see the clothing was dressed with using MetaTailor. We're pretty excited about that. Android does the same. Virus detect notifications when side loading APK. Yeah, so that it's the same kind of thing. It's like just to make sure that you download it from their store, you know, same kind of thing. Any plugins for Unreal Engine to integrate? Unreal plugin is coming. Let me look and see if I have some private footage I can show you guys for being on the stream. Let me see. I might have some. It is a little outdated, but I might have something I can show you guys. It's going to take me a second to find it. Let me see where that is. So the Unreal plugin is coming. And it's actually almost done. It's almost done. We wanted to focus on Unity first because it was a little bit easier to deal with Unity. But on the Unreal side, if you bear with me a second, I will find that video and I'll show you live. Unreal Engine. And anything that I told you guys in terms of the people that had questions about stuff, I told you to reach out to me in Discord. Make sure you do that, and we'll get you good to go. Let me double check this is the right video. That's not the right video. Can't show you guys that one. That one's a secret. That one is a secret. Man, I know I had this. I don't have chat open right now, so if you're saying something, I can't see it at the moment. Let me look. I'm going to check one more spot and see if I can find it. If not, just know that there is a Unreal Engine plugin coming, and the way it's going to work is you're basically actually going to have like a little, we'll call it like a light version of MetaTailor that lives inside of Unreal Engine. So all the layering stuff, you'll be able to do directly in Engine. In the same way that Character Creator and MetaTailor work, where it's almost like a live link where you can just send stuff back and forth. No importing, exporting, none of that nonsense. You could just immediately send stuff directly over to Unreal Engine and it'll work flawlessly. In the meantime, I just found this. I always love seeing this picture. Using MetaTailor to dress a horse. That always gets me. If you ever need a laugh, bring in an animal into MetaTailor and dress it. It's hilarious. Because that we didn't design it to work that way, but the fact that it does is pretty remarkable. I'm checking one more spot for this video. If I can't find it, we will look at it at another time. Let's see. And I'll pull chat open in a second to read what questions you guys have been asking. Somebody posted a game name. Oh, here it is. Look at that. Look at that timing. Let me pull this over here and let me check chat. Oh, whoa, whoa, getting ahead of itself. Getting ahead of itself. Back up. Let's back up. I'm gonna mute it too. Let me see. I'm just checking chat. Any plugins? That's sick. Congrats on the 2K deal. Yeah, thanks so much. That was a really big deal getting that 2K deal signed. Congrats. Thank you. Can you quickly explain or direct me to the place where I can get claw simulations and iClone to work with MetaTailor? I'm gonna actually have to check with their. I'm gonna check with their team on that, the Realtime team, and see what we can do, because I know that we're planning to launch the physics with CC5, but there, in terms of getting away where it can work now, I'll check on that. How to do the print on Discord? Okay, cool. I make all my clothes in ZBrush and then skin weight in CC4, but it takes a lot of time to get the problem areas like armpits look proper. Seems MetaTailor handles the skin weighting much cleaner. Yeah, so MetaTailor handles all that for you. In fact, we're also working on a ZBrush plugin where you can actually just send ZBrush creations directly into MetaTailor and then use that content directly on any avatar you want to use it on. So keep your eye open for that. All right, so I'm going to dive into this plugin. I'm going to show you guys the plugin real quick. I'm just going to skim through it. So you can see on the right side, this is with the MetaTailor plugin active. You can see that there's a MetaTailor tab inside of Unreal Engine. And essentially all the clothing items are layered, and you see clothing meshes, avatar meshes. And you have basically, it looks different, but you have a layer stack in Unreal Engine, and you can move these things up and down, similar to how you do it in MetaTailor. So I'm just going to skim through this. Obviously, we can see that this outfit, it just doesn't fit this avatar. But when he hits play, or he hits the simulation button, just like that, real time, it'll adjust everything to fit the avatar. So it has this avatar that didn't fit, and then it has the avatar or the clothing that was never designed to fit this avatar. Once he hits simulation, the MetaTailor Unreal Engine plugin that's releasing soon just auto solves all of that for you. And then what's really crazy is you're going to see that he actually changes avatars. So he's going to go, right? So he has this kind of female, then he goes to the male avatar, same thing, auto skin weights, auto applies, auto adjusts to the actual avatar in Unreal Engine, all this is in Unreal Engine. And you can see it also fixes the layering as well. And he's going to go into runtime with it, and you can see it changes just like that. Now, the next phase is he actually changes the shirt. So you can see he takes the armor off. So going through here, takes the armor off, changes it to a male avatar, takes the armor off, and changes the shirt underneath. And then once he hits play, it simulates all the clothing, all the layering. And there you have it. That's, at runtime. So that is how the MetaTailor plugin will work with Unreal Engine. It's like the mutable plugin on steroids. It's like, that's the best way to put it. Looking through the chat here. Let's see, it takes a little longer. Auto quadruped dressing in MetaTailor is exclusive mind-blowing moment. Yeah. You know what? You know what, guys? Since I have MetaTailor open, let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. Yes, there's going to be a Unity equivalent to the Unreal plugin, and actually it's going to be even better. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I might do it anyway. Let me see if I have... You guys keep getting me to do stuff that I'm not supposed to do. Let me see if I have the Unity plugin video. Let's see. There's a chance I don't have it, so don't get your hopes too high. I'm going to check one more place. I want to check one more place. Uh-oh, I may have found it. Shoot, I was kind of hoping I didn't. Well, let me make sure this is the right one. Uh-oh, I might have to show you. Okay. This is so cool. Let me get chat up so I can see the reactions in real time. Where did chat go? Oh, there it is. Let's see. Is there a unit? Yeah, I would like to. A Jordy MetaTailor NFT, please. Yeah, so here you go, guys. You're gonna get the exclusive right now. So this is again, this is all pre-release. Nothing you're gonna see is set in stone. But this is the Unity 3D and MetaTailor plugin. And you can see on the right side, so we have the MetaTailor link that's right on the right side of the engine here. And we have the basic avatar, just the YBot. Now, here's all your clothing outfits so anytime you do, in MetaTailor, there's a send button, and in Unity, there's a receive button. And anytime you do a send and receive, it saves those outfits and those accessories and clothing in your browser in Unity. Okay, so we're gonna hit play, and you're gonna see he's just gonna select a random outfit here, just like that. And boom, that outfit, again, it was not designed to fit this avatar. Keep that in mind. This is just a random avatar you haven't seen. That now perfectly fits this avatar. Everything layers up perfectly. Okay. And I believe he switches avatars here. I could be wrong. Oh, yeah, he's just showing all the different, so deletes those. And then goes to a completely different character, completely different outfit. And then there you go. Fully skin weighted, ready to go, right in engine. And you can adjust it at runtime too. So you can do different things. So at runtime, right? Hold on, let's back that up. Pause. Everybody pause. This is at runtime. He just switched that clothing. It is still, the play button is still pressed. So he just switched the clothing at runtime. And it all layers and sits exactly how you'd expect it to. So there you have it. And I promised a horse, so you guys are going to get a horse. This is actually the character creator horse. I forgot. I mean, sometimes things look a little weird, but let's just throw this on there. All right, that's a bit aggressive. let's try something else. Yeah, I don't love that. You know, I didn't say it'd be perfect. Let's do something like what's something a horse would actually wear? Man, let me think here, because I could do something. What would this look like? Yeah, okay, let's not do that. All right, there's some foot armor. We're getting somewhere. What does this look like? Okay, we can work with, no, let's keep going. Throw a helmet on. Battle horse. Scale this down a little bit. Battle horse, okay. Let's keep going. I want to say I had a saddle in here at some point. I don't know if I still do. Okay, let's mirror that over to the other side. And then yeah, don't have it, but oh, here we go. Let's move that up. Mirror that over. And then let's throw some pants on it. Okay, not perfect. Not perfect. Why is it doing that? Oh, they're not centered, that's why. Okay. Let's try that. No. It's doing one leg really nicely. All right, let's do this. Forget it. He's only going to have one pant leg. Okay. And then how about some armor? Shoulder armor. No, I don't like that. I want something bigger. Ooh. How does this look? I'm going to use that instead of the pants. Nice. And then yeah, it's acting strange on those feet. I don't know why it's doing that. Ooh. Let's move this up. Scale it up too. Let's bring this like, I want this on the shoulder. So do something like this. And move that over. And then tuck that underneath the other ones. But I want this on top of that. Yeah, now we're talking. Mirror that over the other side. There you go. I mean, I just threw armor on a horse. And if you don't believe me when I say anything fits everything, I don't know why, but that looks kind of cool, actually. Now, I can't throw an animation. Oh my God, I can't throw an animation on it. What am I doing? This is completely absurd. Oh my God. There's your T-pose horse. This is insane. I didn't think the animations would work, but they do. Wow. Wow. Well, I don't know if anyone else finds this as funny as I do, but yeah, that's insane. That's insane. Well, that's a good place to leave the stream today. I'll answer the rest of these questions, and we'll wrap it up. I'm sold. Take my money. Nice. Runtime waiting is some sort of sorcery. Yeah, that is so. Runtime waiting was always the goal for MetaTailor, by the way. because we knew that MetaTailor was obviously very valuable as just a production tool, but being able to have runtime abilities to where clothing could just beam on and off at runtime was always where we wanted to go with this. Always. You might have discussed this earlier, but I came late. As far as outfits from CC characters, where should I save? In CC4 or MetaTailor? I would go ahead and just save those in MetaTailor, because then you'll always have them and they'll always work at any moment for any character. So I would just go ahead and save those in MetaTailor. Hi, consider testing this later. Checking the tutorials on the channel. Everything is about custom mesh. Is there a library to dress a character fast and import into UE5 with a super fast workflow? Yeah. So we could do that right now, actually. I won't show you the entire workflow, but I'll show you, like, I have a MetaHuman in here somewhere. There it is. Here's a MetaHuman. We'll transfer my monstrosity over. Look at that. It all just worked. It all just worked. That actually looks sick. That looks so cool. But yes, so you can, all the stuff I just picked was from our library, and then I can just export this and export and open it up in Unreal Engine. And we have tutorials on our channel about how to actually get it to work in Unreal Engine, so you can definitely check that out. And also, if you guys wouldn't mind, I know we're about to wrap up here, but if you could definitely leave a like on the video, on the live stream, that helps us out a ton. It's not a crazy thing. It only takes a second, but it does help out more than you think. But yes, you can essentially just take this and just to prove that we're not doing any smoking mirrors here. If I actually pick an accessory and I go to bones, you can see that this is the MetaHuman rig. This is not some custom rig that we're like superimposing. This is all from MetaHuman. Yeah, but I really like this out. Like in a game, this would look so cool. If I threw like a, I don't even know, like, geez. It's almost like Mad Max-ish, kinda. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But that's a MetaHuman. And I'll show you guys one thing real quick if you haven't seen it, is the gloves. You can actually, gloves flawlessly work now on, at the moment they only work on MetaHumans, but you can see the gloves, fully skin weighted rig to each finger. If you haven't tested the gloves out yet, I would highly recommend it. Just like that. And then when you're importing gloves, so let's delete these for a second. If I import these, gloves. Oh, I didn't import the right file. It would help if I did. Import gloves. So we're going to extract this mesh out. So there's the glove. It's in that bounding box. Go to next step. Let me actually change, add like a color to them just so we can see it. There we go. No, I don't want the bounding box. Let's try that again. Glove. And get rid of this. And get this. Next step. Now we'll just say, hey, this is a glove. So we'll put it in the glove category. We'll hit next step again. And this is the right hand. So we'll go to right hand. And then all I have to do to rig this glove is just build a skeleton inside the hand. So I can actually just go here. And you just want to follow the diagram. So like here, 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 and here. And you just follow this through. So here, 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 and here. Here, 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 here. Here, 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 and here. And you just follow this through. Super easy. But you can see that it actually built a rig. It built a hand rig inside of the glove. So now when I hit next step, it's going to apply that glove to the hand, and you can just mirror that to the other side, just like that. So now you have gloves fitted to the hands. Looks like I was a little off there. I did it too quickly. Just kind of align that a little better. There you go. Just move this down. There you go. So now you have gloves. Okay, I promise this is the last time. I'll read a couple questions here, and then I'm gonna cut the stream. We're at 111 minutes. We're almost at 2 hours. Thanks. Gonna try this out. Tutorials in the channel are kind of confusing, to be honest. Playlist is up. Yeah, we can do. Let me know what message me in Discord in terms of what you're confused about, and I'll make sure you have the right tutorials. So did you quit your day job after getting the NBA 2K? So MetaTailor has been my job for 7 years now. We've been doing a lot of different things. We used to be just a custom avatar company. No one ever heard of us. And then we changed into doing what we're doing now. I would imagine that was the moment we made a moment. Yeah, 2K is a big deal. Obviously, it's just, that's just another day. We're trying to get as many game studios and as many people seeing MetaTailor as possible. So we know at this point it's not a function. It's not an issue of. It's not a function of if MetaTailor is right for you. It's just a function of getting it in front of as many people as possible. So we don't have an issue with the tech or the tools or the features. It's once people see it, they're immediately like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So at the moment, we're just trying to get it in front of as many people as possible. Okay, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up the stream. Thank you all for coming out. It was only supposed to be an hour, but I got carried away. So we're almost at 2 hours now, which is no problem. Love it. If you have any additional questions, definitely check us out in Discord. If you have not had a chance to try this yet, make sure you go to the MetaTailor website right here, and you just go to the plugin button, and this will explain to you how to get it. So you have your, visit CC4. So you have to, download CC4 or download the hub, and then you have to be a pro member of MetaTailor. So that's all it takes. So it's been a pleasure, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks again. And if you wouldn't mind, it only takes a second, if you could please leave just a like on the live stream. That would help a lot. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next one.